My partner ridiculed my profession during her work gathering. I ended our engagement right there amid the crowd. I'm a 31-year-old guy, employed as an auto technician. It's far from flashy employment, yet I'm truly content with my role. I spent my childhood observing my father repairing vehicles in our driveway, and it ignited a fire within me. I attended vocational training, earned my qualifications, and these days I manage my own modest garage. It's straightforward labor, and it covers my expenses. Above all, I cherish it. That's precisely why the incident with my partner, former partner, to be accurate, unfolded at her workplace celebration struck me so profoundly. My ex, whom I'll refer to as E, contrasts me in numerous respects. She's refined, employed in business promotion, and consistently amid individuals who prioritize image over substance. In spite of our contrasts, I believed we shared a unique bond. She once expressed how she valued my dedication and appreciated that I pursued my enthusiasm. Or so I assumed her sentiments were genuine. Everything ignited at E's firm festive event several weeks back. She was thrilled about attending, mentioning it as an opportunity for me to connect with her associates and glimpse her environment. I felt somewhat anxious. Formal attire and upscale venues aren't my forte. Still, I aimed to back her, so I consented to join. Upon arrival, the affair matched my anticipations perfectly. Elegant, luxurious, and packed with attendees who appeared as if they'd emerged from a style periodical. He integrated seamlessly, giggling and conversing with her peers. I conversely sensed like a stranger, yet I reminded myself it was irrelevant. My presence was for her sake, not theirs. The mood soured roughly an hour in. E was presenting me to a cluster of her workmates when one of them, a fellow who seemed destined for executive suites, inquired about my occupation. I operate a compact vehicle maintenance business, I stated plainly. Prior to his reply, E interjected. Isn't that adorable? She remarked with a chuckle. He's akin to a contemporary oil changer. The assembly snickered, and I stiffened. Oil changer? I echoed, eyeing her. She dismissed it. Ah, relax. Merely banter. No need to get so intense. The conversation swiftly progressed, but I couldn't dispel the remark. Beyond the phrasing, it was the delivery. The manner she uttered it, as though my livelihood was a trivial diversion rather than a valid profession. I attempted to disregard it, convincing myself I was exaggerating. But inwardly it ached. The decisive strike occurred later that night amid a cheers. E rose before the assembly, drink raised, and commenced acknowledging her crew for their diligence. Then abruptly, she pivoted toward me. In particular gratitude to my partner, she declared, grinning. He's hardly the office type, but he's skilled manually. Should any vehicle falter, you know the contact. The venue burst into guffaws. My cheeks burned as scores of gazes fixed upon me. Their grins carried a hint of superiority. E glowed, evidently delighted with her quip, as I remained seated, mortified. Once the mirth subsided, I met E's gaze, wordlessly questioning her motive. She appeared oblivious to my unease, or perhaps, more troubling, indifferent. She was absorbed in the spotlight, evidently satisfied with her witty aside. I withdrew from the seating and ventured outdoors to gather my wits. The crisp evening breeze offered solace, though my mind churned restlessly. I revisited her statements repeatedly, the chuckles resounding in my thoughts. This transcended an isolated remark. She had diminished my vocation, my fervor, to a jest. And the gravest aspect? She executed it before strangers who scarcely knew me. Moments afterward, E emerged outside, clutching her wine still. There you go, she noted, her inflection airy. Why flee? I faced her, striving for composure. Have you any notion how mortifying that proved? She faltered, evidently surprised. What's your issue? The cheers, I stated, my irritation rising. You portrayed me as some utility fixer you retain for utility. She chuckled, deeming it trivial. Goodness, ease up. Pure humor. The crowd adored it. It repulsed me, I asserted resolutely. And it's hardly the initial instance. You've issued such remarks previously, but this evening you overstepped. Her grin dissolved, yielding to a guarded scowl. You're amplifying it. I merely sought to ease the atmosphere. Through demeaning me? I countered. You claim to esteem my pursuits, yet your conduct suggests differently. Do you grasp how patronizing you came across? She folded her arms. You're over-emotional. If a bit of ribbing overwhelms you, perhaps the issue resides with you. That sealed it. The facade crumbled. This surpassed mere miscommunication. It highlighted a core disparity in her perception of me versus my self-view. I'd consistently bolstered her profession, yet she couldn't or refused to reciprocate for mine. I inhaled deeply, aware of my forthcoming words. I cannot continue like this. Her gaze expanded. What's that mean? This partnership, I declared, my tone resolute, concludes. She tittered uneasily. You jest. Dismissing all due to banter? It's beyond a single quip, I responded. It's your lens on me, your perpetual viewpoint. You lack regard for my endeavors, and I cannot devote my existence to one who condescends upon me. She regarded me, her visage morphing from incredulity to fury. You're absurd, she retorted sharply. You deem yourself exceptional for mending autos? Alert. It's unimpressive. Her utterance pierced sharply. It further cemented my resolve. I removed the betrothal band and deposited it into her palm. Best wishes locating one you genuinely esteem, I stated prior to re-entering. As I re-entered the gathering, the burden upon my torso eased. I recognized terminating the betrothal publicly would stir drama, but it held no concern. I merited superior treatment than being jested at, particularly by one professing affection. Upon resuming the seating, I serenely retrieved my jacket and readied departure. He pursued hastily, evidently agitated. Hold on, you're truly staging this display? She murmured, aiming for discretion. You initiated that solo, I responded, maintaining serenity. Savor the remainder of your event. The nearby attendees began observing the strain. I noted inquisitive looks and muted discussions, yet I persisted. He seized my limb once more, her tone pleading. Kindly, let's discuss. You're inflating it beyond reason. I pivoted to her, holding her stare. I afforded you opportunities to honor me. I endorsed you, rejoiced your achievements, and never demeaned your pursuits. Yet you couldn't mirror that for me. This defies negotiation. It's your essence. Thus, I exited the gathering, abandoning her there with the betrothal band clutched. The journey back was hushed, my sentiments blending liberation and residual vexation. I reviewed the night's occurrences mentally, pondering my choice's wisdom. But each recollection of her barbs, the dismissive inflection on my vocation, affirmed I'd acted optimally for myself. In the ensuing days, repercussions emerged. Shared acquaintances initiated calls and messages, inquiring the circumstances. Evidently, E promptly disseminated her account. He's excessively doubtful, she typed in a collective thread. I bantered and he faltered. Who dissolves a betrothal over a cheers? I opted against involvement. Those of import recognized reality, and I refused descent to her plane. Yet upon a companion forwarding captures of her airing grievances online, I discerned her persistence. She depicted me as domineering and excessively tender, asserting she'd evaded peril. That's when I resolved to seize the storyline. I contacted the partygoers, companions, associates, even casuals, and tranquilly conveyed my perspective. I detailed the ongoing disparagement, the absent esteem, and how the event served as the culminating burden. Most responded empathetically, and several even expressed regret for the cheer's amusement. One of her associates messaged privately, I always disliked her references to you. She implied enduring inferiority. Pricked, yet it affirmed my choice. He had never authentically prized me or my labor, and I wouldn't permit her ongoing portrayal. My choice to dissolve the betrothal propagated waves across our networks, but I remained steadfast. He persisted in efforts to cast me as antagonist, yet her conduct at the event and the confidences others disclosed privately began overtaking her. One notably gratifying instance arose when a shared acquaintance, previously neutral, texted. I consulted her office peer, they noted. She boasts of enduring you, believing you'd yield to her sway. Resembles you evaded peril. Evaded peril, absolutely. The definitive resolution arrived via her superior's ring. Evidently, the event's chatter reached oversight, and they fretted her decorum. I contributed minimally, merely verifying the cheer's details and her follow-up demeanor. The superior appreciated and noted internal resolution. I remain unaware of subsequent developments, but via whispers, he forfeited an advancement she'd coveted. Deeds ultimately bear outcomes. With he excised from my realm, I immersed in labor and favored pursuits. I embraced additional intricate assignments at the garage, enhanced select equipment, and commenced instructing a leisure session for budding technicians. It invigorated, centering on delight sans critique or superiority. Regarding the betrothal band, I liquidated it and allocated funds toward a deserved retreat. It symbolized sealing that era and advancing. Reflecting, I comprehended the dissolution transcended the cheers. It unveiled the cheer's truth. He viewed me not as peer. She regarded me as jest fodder, manipulable ego fodder. And that's absent affection. Affection entails esteem, alliance, elevating mutually, not dismantling for fleeting amusement. Thus, should you find yourself in a liaison feeling diminished or unappreciated, regard this your cue. You merit superior.